Chosen one, what if I told you that tomorrow morning at 6:47 a.m., your daughter's life shifts into a timeline you've been praying for since she was 7 years old? What if the weight you've been carrying, the sleepless nights, the silent tears in the kitchen at 3 a.m., the prayers you whispered over her baby photos, what if all of it comes to a moment of divine reckoning? Tomorrow, what if God has been waiting for you to hear this message? Tonight, chosen one, stop what you're doing, put down your phone, turn off the TV, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just another sermon. This is a summons. This message is about your daughter. And tomorrow is not just another Wednesday. Tomorrow is not just another sunrise. Tomorrow, heaven moves what's been stuck in her life for years. Tomorrow, something breaks that's held her captive since childhood. Tomorrow, the answer you've begged God for finally arrives, but only if you understand what's happening tonight. I know you. I see you, 73 years old, maybe 82, sitting in that chair you've sat in for decades. You raised her, you sacrificed for her, you gave everything you had, and somewhere along the way you lost her. Not physically, but spiritually, emotionally. She drifted, she hardened, she stopped calling, stopped listening, stopped believing, and you've been carrying guilt that was never yours to carry. You've prayed quietly for years. Sometimes with tears you hid from everyone, even yourself. But listen to me very carefully right now. God whispered a name last night, and it was your daughter's. Heaven has circled a date over her life. And you, yes, you are the one being summoned tonight to prepare for what breaks tomorrow. Not next week, not someday. Tomorrow. Before I go deeper, I want to pause and honor every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving, you're sowing seeds into a harvest that will reach daughters, sons, and families across this nation who are crying out for breakthrough. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your time, your heart. It all matters. Now, if your spirit is already stirring, if something inside you just whispered, "This is about my girl," then type Amen in the comments right now. Let heaven see your agreement. Let the angels take notice, because what happens next requires your faith to align with God's timing. Tomorrow changes everything. Tonight prepares your heart. Tomorrow shifts what's been stuck for years. And you, chosen one, you are the hinge upon which this door swings open. Are you ready to discover what God is about to do? Have you ever looked at your daughter and felt something you couldn't name? A heaviness in the air around her that no one else seems to see. Have you ever watched her smile at dinner, laugh at a joke, go through the motions of living, and yet somewhere deep in your spirit you knew she was drowning? What if I told you that what you're sensing isn't paranoia? It's prophecy. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Your daughter has been carrying a storm she doesn't talk about. She laughs when the family gathers. She posts pictures that show strength. She says, "I'm fine," with such conviction that even she almost believes it. But her spirit trembles. She's strong on the outside, exhausted on the inside. And you've felt it, haven't you? That mother's instinct, that father's knowing, that grandparent's discernment that something isn't right. You're not imagining it. There is a battle raging around your daughter's life that most people cannot see, not with natural eyes, but you've been waking up at 3 a.m. with her name burning on your lips. You've been praying prayers you don't even understand. You've been interceding in the gap between what is and what could be. And tonight, I'm going to tell you why. The enemy marked her because she was born with a destiny. Let me say that again. The forces of darkness didn't attack your daughter randomly. They didn't stumble across her by accident. They targeted her, specifically, deliberately, because hell saw what heaven placed inside her before she took her first breath. Think about this. When Pharaoh ordered the massacre of Hebrew baby boys in Exodus 1:22, was it random violence? No, it was strategic warfare. The enemy knew that among those babies was Moses the deliverer, so he tried to destroy an entire generation to prevent one calling. When Herod slaughtered the innocents in Bethlehem, was it madness? No, it was spiritual assassination. Hell recognized the Messiah had come and tried to kill him before he could fulfill his purpose. Your daughter carries something, a light, a frequency, a divine assignment that threatens the kingdom of darkness. And that's why the battle has been so intense around her life. She is the lighthouse that storms keep trying to swallow. Think about a lighthouse standing on jagged rocks, waves crashing against it day and night, trying to tear it from its foundation. The storm doesn't attack the lighthouse because it's weak. It attacks because the lighthouse stands in the way of shipwrecks. It threatens the darkness with its beam. It saves lives the storm wants to claim. That's your daughter. The depression that showed up out of nowhere when she was 16. That wasn't adolescence, that was assault. The relationship that broke her heart at 23. That wasn't just a bad breakup, that was strategic. The career doors that slammed shut just when breakthrough seemed close. That wasn't luck, that was interference. She's the seed that grew in concrete, threatened, yet chosen. You've wondered, haven't you? You've laid awake asking God, why her? Why does everything seem harder for her than for other kids? You've watched her fight battles that her siblings never faced, carry weights that friends her age don't even know exist. And you felt helpless, powerless, like you're watching her slip through your fingers and there's nothing you can do. But what if the very intensity of her struggle is proof of the magnitude of her calling? What if the reason her path has been so difficult is because her destination is so significant? Listen to what Jesus said in John 10:10. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. That thief, he's been circling your daughter's life, stealing her peace, killing her confidence, destroying her sense of purpose, not because she's weak, but because he knows what happens when she finally wakes up to who she really is. You've seen glimpses of it, moments when her true nature broke through, when she was 8 years old and prayed over that dying bird in the backyard with such faith you almost believed it would fly again. When she was 17 and stood up for the bullied kid even though it cost her socially. When she was 26 and walked away from that high-paying job because something in her spirit said, this isn't your path. She has the mark, the calling, the anointing, and hell has been trying to suffocate it before it fully ignites. You've wondered if she's slipping away. I know you have. You've watched her drift from the faith you raised her in. You've seen her question things that used to be certain. You've heard the bitterness creep into her voice when she talks about God, about church, about hope itself, and it's terrified you. You feared a moment you could not bear. A phone call, a decision, a point of no return. That fear, it's real, but it's not prophetic. It's not the end of her story. It's the crescendo before the breakthrough. Because here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. The fiercer the attack, the closer she is to her awakening. David wasn't hunted by Saul when he was a nobody. He was hunted when he was anointed. Joseph wasn't thrown into prison when he was ordinary. He was imprisoned when he carried dreams of rulership. Jesus wasn't crucified when he was a carpenter. He was crucified when he declared, I am. Your daughter's battle intensified because her time is coming. But there's one thing God showed me, one hidden reason the battle reached this level of intensity, one specific door that was opened in her life that gave the enemy access he shouldn't have had, and when I reveal it to you in just a moment, everything you've witnessed will suddenly make sense. But first, you need to understand something that will change how you pray, how you intercede, how you fight for her starting tonight. You are not just her parent. You are her spiritual covering. And tomorrow, that covering is about to activate in ways you've never experienced before. Listen to me, beloved. Before we go any further, I need you to understand something that will shatter every ounce of guilt you've been carrying for the last 20 years. You were chosen to be her covering, not by accident, not by biology, not because you happened to be in the delivery room that day she was born. You were hand-picked by the Almighty God before the foundations of the world were laid to stand between heaven and your daughter's destiny. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You are not a helpless bystander watching her life fall apart. You are a spiritual warrior positioned by divine appointment. And every prayer you've whispered in that dark bedroom at 2 a.m., every tear you've shed over her choices, every moment you felt powerless, those weren't signs of your weakness. Those were acts of war in the spiritual realm. Exodus 14:14 declares something that should shake you to your core. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. You need only to be still. Not silent, not passive, but positioned, anchored, unmovable in your faith, while God moves heaven and earth on her behalf. You see, the enemy has been lying to you. He's been whispering in your ear for years, telling you that you failed her, that if you'd been a better parent, a stronger Christian, a wiser guide, she wouldn't be where she is right now. He's convinced you that her rebellion is your fault, that her pain is your punishment, that her distance from God is proof of your spiritual inadequacy. That's a lie, straight from the pit of hell. Your daughter's struggle is not evidence of your failure. It's evidence of her calling. And you, dear chosen one, you are the gatekeeper standing between her and the forces that want to destroy her before she steps into what God has prepared. Your prayers are the gate the enemy cannot cross. Think about it. Why has the warfare been so intense around her? Why have the attacks been so relentless? Why does it feel like everything that could go wrong in her life has gone wrong? Because hell saw something heaven placed inside her before she was even conceived. The enemy knows what she's carrying. He knows what she's destined to become, and he's been fighting you, not her, because you're the one holding the line. You are the anchor in her storm, and anchors hold even in the dark. I know you've felt helpless. I know there have been nights when you've stared at your phone, waiting for a call that never came. I know you've driven past her apartment at midnight just to see if the lights were on, just to know she was safe. I know you've replayed every argument, every harsh word, every moment you wish you could take back. But what if I told you that every single one of those moments was preparation for tomorrow? What if your pain has been positioning you? What if your tears have been watering seeds that are about to break through soil? What she cannot fight right now, heaven has assigned to you. Your daughter doesn't have the spiritual strength right now to battle what's coming against her. She doesn't have the faith reserves. She doesn't have the prayer life. She doesn't even believe she needs deliverance. But you do. You've been in the prayer closet long enough to know that battles are won before they're ever seen. You've walked with God long enough to recognize warfare disguised as coincidence. And tonight, right now, God is activating your authority as her intercessor. Look at Luke 15. Everyone talks about the prodigal son, but have you ever noticed the father? He didn't chase his son down the road. He didn't track him to the pig pen. He didn't send letters begging him to come home. He did something far more powerful. He watched, he waited, he believed. And every single day he scanned the horizon with expectation, knowing that what left would return. That's you, chosen one. You are the father in that story. You are the mother standing on the porch of faith, believing for a reunion that logic says is impossible. But here's what's going to wreck you. Here's what's going to break every chain of doubt wrapped around your heart. Your daughter is not drifting. Heaven is repositioning her. What looks like rebellion is actually redirection. What feels like her moving further away is actually God moving her into alignment. Every detour, every mistake, every wrong turn she's made, it's all been part of a divine setup, orchestrated by a God who specializes in using broken roads to build testimonies. She had to go where she went so she could become who she's meant to be. And you had to endure what you endured so you could pray with the authority you're about to need. Because tomorrow, Listen to me carefully. Tomorrow something shifts. Tomorrow a door opens that's been locked for years. Tomorrow your daughter wakes up to a divine interruption she didn't see coming. And it's your prayers tonight that are unlocking that door. But there is something heaven is about to correct in her life, something she has not told you yet, something she's been hiding because shame convinced her you could never understand, something that's been eating her alive from the inside out. And God is about to expose it, not to destroy her, but to deliver her. If you receive this calling, if you understand that you were positioned as her covering, if you're ready to stand in the gap for what's about to break tomorrow, then type "I stand for her" in the comments right now. Let heaven record your declaration. Let the angels witness your agreement. Because your faith tonight determines what breaks loose tomorrow. But before that deliverance comes, you need to know exactly what you're fighting against. You need to understand the spirit that's been operating in her life. Because the enemy she's facing has a name. There is a wound she carries that didn't start with her. Look at your daughter's eyes when she thinks no one is watching. See that heaviness? That's not just her pain, chosen one. That's inherited sorrow. That's a silence passed from one generation to the next, like a dark heirloom nobody wanted but everyone received. Your grandmother carried it. Your mother carried it. You carried it. And now she's carrying it. But God whispered something to me 3 nights ago that's going to shatter everything you thought you understood about your family's struggle. He said, "This ends tomorrow." Listen to me carefully. The depression that sits on her chest at 2 a.m., the fear that keeps her from trusting anyone fully, the anger that flares up for reasons she can't explain, the feeling that she's never quite enough, never quite lovable, never quite worthy. That didn't begin in her childhood. It began 3, 4, maybe 5 generations before she took her first breath. It has been like a shadow that visited every woman in your bloodline. Your great-grandmother felt it but called it just life. Your grandmother numbed it with work and silence. Your mother medicated it with perfection and control. You buried it under prayer and pretending. And your daughter, she's drowning in it, wondering why she can't seem to break free. Exodus 34:7 speaks of iniquity being visited upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation. But here's what most people miss. That same verse also declares God's mercy extends to thousands of generations for those who love Him. The curse has a shelf life, but the blessing is eternal. And you, sitting here tonight, you are the breaking point. Why do you think you felt such unbearable weight when you think about her? Why does her pain hurt you deeper than your own? Why have you cried more tears over her struggles than she knows? Because your spirit has been sensing what's coming. Your soul has been preparing for this moment when heaven says, "Enough, the pattern ends here, the cycle breaks now." But I need to tell you something that might shake you. Your daughter's breakthrough isn't just about her. It's tied to something God has been preparing in you. Think about it. Why are you still here? Why didn't God take you home 10 years ago when you buried your husband? Why are you still breathing when friends your age have passed? Why has He kept you strong enough to see this day? Because He needs you positioned for what breaks tomorrow. You think you're too old to matter in her story. You think your time of influence has passed. That's the lie the enemy has been whispering to keep you silent. But the truth that's about to rearrange everything is this: when God heals the parent, the child rises. You see, spiritual authority flows downward through bloodlines. When Moses lifted his hands, Israel prevailed in battle. When Joshua stood firm, the walls of Jericho fell. When you step into the healing God has been offering you for decades, something breaks loose in your daughter's life that she couldn't break on her own. What have you been refusing to release? What bitterness from your own mother have you been clutching? What shame from your past have you been hiding under good behavior and church attendance? What unforgiveness toward your father has been sitting in your chest like a stone for 40 years? God is saying tonight, give it to me. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Tonight. Because tomorrow morning at 6:47 a.m., when heaven moves on your daughter's behalf, You need to be free. You need to be whole. You need to be standing in the authority of someone who has let go of what was never yours to carry. 1 Peter 5-7 is simple and direct. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. All of it. The regret about how you raised her, the guilt about the divorce she witnessed, the shame about the anger she saw, the sorrow about the pain you couldn't prevent. Every single ounce of it, God is ready to take it tonight, so tomorrow your daughter can be free. But here's where it gets urgent. Here's where time becomes precious. Generational curses don't break automatically. They break when someone in the bloodline says, "No more. I refuse to pass this forward." The shadow that haunted my grandmother, that tormented my mother, that crushed my spirit, it will not touch my daughter. It ends with me. Are you that someone? Are you the one God has been preparing through 70, 80 years of life to stand in the gap and say, "The curse that stalked my family loses its name tomorrow"? Because I'm telling you right now, your daughter can't break what she doesn't understand. She can't fight what she can't see. She's been swinging at symptoms while the root remains buried in soil she's never touched. But you know the history. You've lived the pattern. You carry the authority to sever what's been binding your bloodline for generations. Tomorrow, the shadow loses its power. Tomorrow, the silence breaks. Tomorrow, the wound that has festered for 100 years finally gets healed. But tonight, you prepare. Tonight, you surrender. Tonight, you step into the destiny God has been holding for you since before your daughter was born. Because what happens to her tomorrow depends entirely on what you do with this message tonight. So let me ask you something that will determine everything. Are you ready to be the generation that breaks the curse? Or will you let it pass to your grandchildren too? Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. While you've been sitting here, while your heart has been stirring, while these words have been washing over your spirit, something has already begun in the invisible realm. Heaven has already dispatched an angel. Not tomorrow, tonight, right now, this very hour. An angel assigned specifically to your daughter, not a random messenger, not just any heavenly being, but one who has been studying her file since before she was born, one who knows every tear she's cried, every wrong turn she's taken, every door she's walked through that led her further from God's original design for her life. And that angel is being sent for one reason: to rescue, realign, and restore what the enemy has tried to steal. Do you remember what happened in Acts chapter 12? Peter was locked in prison, bound by chains, guarded by 16 soldiers. The church was praying, but let's be honest, they weren't really expecting an answer. They were praying out of desperation, not expectation. But verse 7 says, "Suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter on the side and woke him up." Suddenly, not gradually, not eventually, suddenly. Your daughter is about to have her suddenly moment. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what keeps me up at night, praying for parents just like you. You've been praying for her for 20 years, maybe 30 years, maybe since the day she was born. You've watched her make choices that crushed your spirit. You've seen her walk away from everything you taught her. You've witnessed her hardening, her bitterness, her rebellion, her pain disguised as independence. And somewhere along the way, you stopped believing the prayers were working. You kept praying because that's what faithful parents do, but you stopped expecting the breakthrough. You resigned yourself to just hoping she'd be okay. Just hoping she wouldn't completely destroy her life. Just hoping that maybe, someday, before you die, you'd see a glimmer of the girl you raised. But God doesn't operate in just okay. He operates in suddenly. The angel being sent tonight isn't coming to make small adjustments. This isn't about her being slightly nicer to you on the phone. This isn't about her attending church once or twice. This messenger is coming with a sword, beloved. A sword to cut chains that have bound her since she was 17. A sword to sever soul ties that have drained her for decades. A sword to break generational curses that have followed your family line like shadows. Hebrews 1:14 asks a question that should shake you right now. Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation? Ministering spirits. Sent. Not sitting in heaven waiting for permission. Sent, deployed, activated. And tonight, one of them is standing at the threshold of your daughter's future. Can you see it? I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm speaking spiritually. There is an angel whose wings are brushing against the doorframe of her destiny right now. There is a heavenly warrior whose hand is touching the very chain that's held her captive. The addiction, the toxic relationship, the unforgiveness, the shame, the fear, the lies she's believed about herself. But here's what you need to understand about angelic intervention. Angels don't move because we beg. They move because heaven commands. And heaven doesn't command randomly. Heaven commands when the prayers of the righteous have reached a tipping point, when your tears have filled the bowls before the throne, when your intercession has created an opening in the spiritual realm. You didn't know it, but every time you cried out for her at 3 a.m., every time you whispered her name during communion, every time you felt that weight on your chest and you prayed, even though you didn't know what to pray, you were setting the stage for tonight. Your prayers weren't bouncing off the ceiling, dear one. They were being collected, measured, weighed in heaven's scales. And tonight, the scale tipped. Think about Elisha in 2 Kings chapter 6. His servant woke up and saw enemy armies surrounding them. Terror seized him. But Elisha prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." And suddenly, the servant saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire, angelic armies, protecting them that had been there all along. The angels have been there all along around your daughter, warring, fighting, holding back destruction. But tonight, they're not just defending anymore. Tonight, they're advancing. Something will be revealed tomorrow. Something she's been blind to for years will suddenly become clear. A truth she's been running from will finally corner her, but not in condemnation. In love. In undeniable, overwhelming, supernatural love that she won't be able to explain away or intellectualize or dismiss. Her spirit will shift while she sleeps. She's going to wake up tomorrow morning, and something inside her will be different. She won't understand it at first. She might not even recognize it, but you will. You're going to see it in her eyes the next time you talk to her. You're going to hear it in her voice. There will be a softness that wasn't there yesterday, an openness, a crack in the wall she's built around her heart. And you'll know that what I'm telling you right now wasn't just words. You'll know that heaven truly moved. If you believe angels still move, if you believe that God still dispatches messengers on behalf of broken daughters and desperate parents, then whisper it right now. Don't just think it, speak it. Send the angel, Lord. Because what happens in the next 12 hours in the spiritual realm will determine what manifests in the next 12 months in the natural realm. And your daughter? She's about to discover that she was never forgotten, never abandoned, never too far gone. She was always being watched over, always being fought for, always being prepared for this moment when everything shifts. But this raises a question you need to answer. If heaven is moving tonight, if angels are being dispatched, if chains are about to break, then what is your role in what happens tomorrow? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Tomorrow is not symbolic. Tomorrow is not a metaphor for someday or eventually or when the time is right. Tomorrow is scheduled. Heaven has already circled the date. The angels have already been dispatched. The spiritual atmosphere over your daughter's life has already begun to shift. You feel it right now, don't you? That stirring in your chest, that inexplicable knowing that something is different about this moment. That's not your imagination. That's confirmation. God is moving pieces on a chessboard you can't see, orchestrating events in the invisible realm that will manifest in the visible world tomorrow morning. But let me ask you something that's going to cut deep. How many years have you been praying the same prayer? How many nights have you whispered her name into the darkness, begging God to intervene, to save her, to bring her back? 5 years? 10? 20? And every morning you wake up, check your phone, and nothing has changed. She's still distant, still cold, still walking down a path that breaks your heart. You've started to wonder if God even hears you anymore, haven't you? Be honest. You've questioned whether your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, whether maybe you did something wrong as a parent that disqualified you from receiving an answer, whether God is punishing you by withholding the breakthrough you've begged for. That's a lie straight from the pit of hell. Psalm 34:17 says, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." Not some of their troubles, all of them. And tomorrow, the delivery you've been crying out for finally arrives. You see, there's something happening in the spiritual realm right now that your natural eyes cannot perceive. There is a conversation God will divinely orchestrate tomorrow, not through your effort, not through your manipulation, not through you finally saying the right words or sending the perfect text message. This conversation will be arranged by heaven itself. Maybe it's a phone call that comes at an unexpected hour. Maybe it's a chance encounter that isn't chance at all. Maybe it's a breakdown that becomes a breakthrough. Maybe it's a crisis that forces her to her knees. I don't know the exact mechanism God will use, but I know this: when God orchestrates a conversation, demons lose their authority to interfere. Think about the road to Damascus. Saul was hell-bent on destroying Christians. He was traveling with murder in his heart and legal documents in his hand to arrest believers. But Acts 9:3 tells us, as he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. Suddenly, not gradually, not eventually, suddenly, God interrupted Saul's trajectory with a divine conversation that changed everything. Your daughter is on a road right now. You know it, I know it, God knows it. And tomorrow, heaven interrupts that road. But here's what I need you to understand. Tomorrow, a door will close and a door will open. The door to everything that's been holding her captive, the relationship that's been poisoning her spirit, the addiction that's been draining her life force, the bitterness that's been hardening her heart, the lies she's believed about herself, about you, about God. That door slams shut tomorrow. The enemy loses his access point, and simultaneously a door opens that's been sealed for years. The door to her destiny, the door to her calling, the door to the version of herself she abandoned long ago, the door to reconciliation with you, the door to restoration with the Almighty. It will be like dawn breaking through a long winter night. You know what that's like, don't you? You've lived through New York winters. You've experienced those February mornings when it feels like the sun will never rise again, when darkness has overstayed its welcome, when you start to forget what warmth feels like. And then, finally, one morning, you wake up and you see it, that first crack of light on the horizon, that promise that winter doesn't last forever, that evidence that spring is coming even when the ground is still frozen. That's tomorrow morning for your daughter. The long winter of her soul is ending. But I need you to hear this next part with your whole heart, because this is the truth that will anchor you through tonight. You've feared losing her. I know you have. You've laid awake at 2 a.m. with your chest tight, wondering if you'll ever get her back, wondering if the girl you raised is gone forever, wondering if the enemy has won. Tomorrow proves heaven never lost her. Not for 1 second, not for 1 moment. Not even when she was at her worst, when she was saying things that made you cry, when she was making choices that terrified you, when she looked at you with eyes that didn't recognize the sacrifice you'd made. Even then, God's hand was on her life. Jeremiah 29:11 wasn't just for you, chosen one. It was for her too. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Those plans didn't expire. They didn't get cancelled because she made mistakes. They've been waiting, dormant but not dead, for this exact moment when heaven says, now. And here's the part that's going to shake you. What was attacking her spirit loses its authority at dawn. The principality that's been whispering lies in her ear. The demonic assignment that's been stealing her peace, the spiritual bondage that's been keeping her from her destiny, its legal right to operate in her life, gets revoked tomorrow morning. You want to know why? Because somewhere tonight, a parent, you aligned their faith with God's timing. Because you stopped begging and started believing. Because you heard this message and something ancient in your spirit woke up and said, "Yes, tomorrow. I receive it." Chosen one, if you're still here, if you've made it this far in this message, it's not by accident. Heaven positioned you in front of this screen tonight because your agreement matters. Your faith is the key that unlocks what God has already prepared. So, write it in the comments right now. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Just type these 5 words, "Tomorrow belongs to God." That agreement shifts the atmosphere over your daughter. That declaration breaks the stronghold the enemy thought was permanent. That faith activates what's been waiting in the heavenly realm to manifest in the earthly realm. Tomorrow belongs to God, and so does your daughter. But the question burning in your spirit right now is this: if tomorrow is when everything changes for her, then what is tonight for you? Listen to me, beloved. What I'm about to tell you will shatter every fear you've carried about her future. Your daughter is not lost. She's being prepared. She is not wandering without purpose. She's walking a path heaven mapped before she took her first breath. Let me tell you what God revealed to me at 2:47 this morning. I was on my knees, interceding for parents just like you, when the Spirit whispered something that shook me to my core. He said, "Tell them their daughters are not accidents of circumstance. They are divine appointments wrapped in flesh." Your daughter, the one you've cried over, prayed for, lost sleep about, she carries something ancient in her bloodline, something the enemy has been trying to destroy since she was in your womb. But what hell fears most is what heaven has already sealed. She is called to be a healer, not just of bodies, but of broken families, of shattered dreams, of generational wounds that have bled through your family tree for 100 years. Jeremiah 30:17 declares, "For I will restore health to you and heal you of your wounds." That's not just about her. That's about what flows through her into others. Do you understand what this means? Every tear you've cried over her rebellion, every night you've wondered if your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling, God was using that pain to build something in her spirit that only fire can forge. She had to walk through darkness to carry light for others who are drowning in it. She is called to be a leader, but not the kind the world celebrates, not the kind who seeks stages and spotlights. She will lead with quiet authority, the kind that makes broken people feel safe enough to breathe again. Isaiah 58:12 says, "Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations." That's her. She's a rebuilder of what's been destroyed. I know what you're thinking right now, but she can't even lead her own life. How can she lead others? That's exactly the point. Moses murdered a man before he delivered a nation. David committed adultery before he wrote the Psalms. Peter denied Christ 3 times before he preached at Pentecost. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called through their mess. She is called to be a light carrier. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." Your daughter is that city. She's been hidden in the valley of her struggles, but she's about to be elevated where everyone can see. And when she rises, when she finally steps into who God created her to be, her light won't just illuminate her own path. It will guide others out of the same darkness she escaped. But here's what will break your heart wide open with hope. She will walk paths you once prayed for. You remember those prayers, don't you? The ones you prayed when she was 5 years old, sitting on the edge of her bed, watching her sleep. You whispered dreams over her that seemed impossible. You asked God to use her in ways you never could be used. You prayed she'd have courage you never had, faith you struggled to maintain, peace you spent your whole life chasing. Those prayers didn't die. They've been compounding interest in heaven's bank for decades. Her story will redeem chapters you thought were lost. Romans 8:28 promises, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose." all things, not some things, not the easy things. The addiction she battled, that's going to become her testimony to save someone else's child. The depression that nearly took her out, that's going to become the empathy that pulls someone back from the ledge. The rebellion that broke your heart, that's going to become the humility that makes her approachable to the lost. Every wasted year, God is about to turn it into a weapon against the enemy who tried to waste her. She is the sunrise heaven refused to let the night swallow. Let that image settle into your spirit. How many times did you think the darkness had won? How many times did you stand at her door in the middle of the night, wondering if she'd make it to morning? But she did. She's still here, still breathing, still fighting. Because sunrise isn't just about light appearing, it's about darkness losing its grip. And now, right now, listen to what the Spirit is saying about you. All the years you feared were wasted, God will restore through her. You think those decades of worry, those nights of weeping, those prayers that felt unanswered were for nothing? No, they were deposits. Joel 2:25 declares, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. But watch this, God doesn't just restore what was lost, He multiplies it. Your tears become her testimony. Your brokenness becomes her breakthrough. Your prayers become her power. You were never praying into a void. You were praying into her destiny. Her future is not in danger. Her future is in motion. Stop seeing her through the lens of her past. Stop measuring her worth by her mistakes. Stop believing the lie that she's too far gone, too broken, too late. That's not God's voice, that's the enemy's last desperate attempt to keep you from seeing what's really happening. Tomorrow, something shifts, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. Not because you finally figured it out, but because heaven finally said, now. And the question that will determine everything is this: will you trust what God is about to do in her life, even if it looks nothing like what you expected? Because, beloved, what's coming for your daughter isn't just redemption, it's resurrection, and you're about to witness it. But first, you need to understand the battle that's been raging over her life since the day she was born. Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one. What I'm about to tell you is not a suggestion. This is not spiritual advice you can take or leave. This is a divine assignment handed down from the throne room of heaven itself, and it must be completed tonight, before midnight, before you close your eyes, before tomorrow breaks. You see, God doesn't just move in our lives randomly. He moves through obedience. He moves through alignment. He moves when His people position themselves in agreement with what He's already set in motion. And right now, your daughter's breakthrough is suspended between heaven and earth, waiting for one thing: your voice, your decree, your prophetic act of faith. Proverbs 18:21 says it clearly. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Not might be, not could be, are air. Your words carry creative power. The same God who spoke light into darkness, who called forth dry land from the waters, who breathed life into dust, that same creative force flows through your voice when it aligns with His will. But here's what breaks my heart. I meet parents every single day who pray for their children, but they pray from fear instead of faith. They speak worry instead of warfare. They rehearse the problem instead of declaring the promise. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. When you think about your daughter, what words fill your mind? She's so lost, she'll never change. It's too late for her. She's made too many mistakes. Every single one of those thoughts is a seed, and you've been planting them in the spiritual realm without even realizing it. Tonight, that changes. Tonight, before the clock strikes 12, you are going to pray over her name, not a desperate, begging prayer, not a fearful, worried prayer, a prophetic, authoritative, faith-filled decree that shakes the heavens and moves angels into position. Here's what you're going to do. Find a quiet place. It doesn't have to be fancy. Your kitchen table, your bedside, that old chair by the window where you've cried 1,000 tears. Go there, and I want you to speak her name out loud. Say it. Let it fill the room. Let it echo off the walls. When you speak her name in faith, heaven will echo it back. Angels are listening right now for the sound of a parent who believes God more than they believe their circumstances. Psalm 103:20 tells us that angels excel in strength, who do His word, heeding the voice of His word. Did you catch that? Angels respond to the voice of God's word, not our complaints, not our fears. His word, spoken in faith. So tonight, you're going to speak life over her, not death, not fear, not the pattern you've seen repeated. Life, possibility, transformation. You're going to release her into God's protection, out of your worry, out of your control, out of your desperate grip. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Sometimes our fear for our children becomes the cage that keeps them bound. Our worry becomes the spiritual weight they carry. Our guilt becomes their identity. But when you release her truly, release her into the hands of the Almighty, you break the invisible chains that your own anxiety has wrapped around her life. I need you to do something right now that's going to feel powerful and prophetic. I need you to comment her first name below, not her whole name, just her first name. This isn't superstition. This is a prophetic act. When you type those letters, you are making a public declaration that you believe God for her breakthrough. You are sowing a seed of faith in digital soil that will produce a harvest in the spiritual realm. Abraham had to leave his country. Moses had to stretch out his rod. Joshua had to march around the walls. David had to pick up 5 stones. There's always an act of obedience that precedes the miracle. This is yours. Type her name. Let this community of believers stand in agreement with you. Let thousands of voices join yours in declaring that tomorrow everything shifts for your daughter. Because, chosen one, when you speak her name in faith tonight, angels will move by command. Demonic assignments will be cancelled. Spiritual atmospheres will shift. And tomorrow morning, when she wakes up, she won't know why, but something inside her will feel different. The question is, will you obey? There is a conversation coming tomorrow that your daughter doesn't know about yet. She'll wake up thinking it's just another ordinary morning. She'll make her coffee the same way she always does. She'll check her phone, scroll through the noise, maybe sigh at another day that feels empty. But what she doesn't know, what hell is desperately trying to hide from her, is that heaven has already scheduled a divine appointment. A conversation that will redirect her steps. A conversation that will finally break the silence that's been choking her spirit for years. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Somewhere in the next 24 hours, God is positioning someone to cross your daughter's path. Not randomly, not accidentally. This is strategic, prophetic, orchestrated by the throne room of the Almighty Himself. It might be a stranger in a coffee shop who says something that pierces through her defenses. It might be an old friend she hasn't spoken to in years who suddenly calls. It might be a verse she stumbles across that she's read 100 times before, but this time, this one time, it will land differently. Because tomorrow, her ears are finally ready to hear what her heart has been running from. You know what breaks my heart? You've rehearsed what you wish you could tell her. Late at night, lying in that bed, staring at the ceiling, you've practiced the words, "Sweetheart, I see you. I know you're hurting. I know you feel lost. But God hasn't forgotten you." You've whispered those words into the darkness 1,000 times, haven't you? But every time you tried to say them to her face, the walls went up. The phone call ended, the door closed. And you've been left holding words that weigh like stones in your chest. But here's what God is saying to you tonight. He's bringing someone who will say what you couldn't, someone who doesn't carry the history, the baggage, the old wounds between you. Someone whose voice she can actually hear because it doesn't trigger the defense mechanisms she built against your love. Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Your daughter thinks she's been wandering aimlessly. She thinks she's been making her own choices, carving her own path, doing life her own way. But God has been establishing her steps this entire time. Every detour, Every wrong turn, every moment that looked like rebellion was actually him positioning her for this divine collision. It will be like light walking into her room and recognizing her face. You remember when she was little, when she'd have nightmares and you'd open her bedroom door, let the hallway light spill across her bed, and she'd see your face and everything would be okay. That's what's about to happen in her spirit tomorrow. Someone is going to walk into the darkness she's been living in, and when that light hits her face, she's going to remember who she is. She's going to remember who she is. The words she hears tomorrow will shift what she believes about herself. For years, she's believed the lies. I'm not enough. I'm too damaged. I've gone too far. God couldn't possibly want me back. The enemy has been whispering those accusations day and night, and she's believed every single one. But tomorrow, one conversation is going to shatter that lying narrative. Matthew 18:12-1-3 paints the picture. If a man owns 100 sheep, and one of them wanders away, will he not leave the 99 on the hills and go to look for the one that wandered off? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he is happier about that one sheep than about the 99 that did not wander off. Your daughter is that one sheep, and the shepherd has never stopped searching. Tomorrow he finds her. Tomorrow the search ends and the celebration begins. But here's what you need to understand. This divine appointment requires something from you tonight. It requires your faith. It requires your agreement. It requires you to stop carrying the guilt and start releasing the power of intercession. If you feel this in your spirit right now, if something inside you is confirming that, yes, this is about your daughter, then I need you to do something. Comment below, I'm ready for her healing. Don't just think it, speak it, type it. Let your faith become a declaration that heaven can witness and hell must recognize. Because what God is about to do in your daughter's life tomorrow doesn't just affect her, it affects your entire bloodline. And it all hinges on whether you can believe tonight for what breaks loose tomorrow. You know what breaks my heart? It's not what your daughter says to you, it's what she doesn't say. Every daughter carries a silent wound. A wound she hides beneath that smile she gives you at Sunday dinner. A wound she buries under her busy schedule, her strong voice, her "I'm fine, Mom" armor. A wound she lives with because somewhere along the way she decided that no one, not even you, would understand. Maybe it was something that happened when she was 12. Maybe it was a word spoken over her that planted a lie so deep it became her identity. Maybe it was a man who broke her. Maybe it was a dream that died. Maybe it was watching you struggle and deciding right then and there that she would never let anyone see her struggle too. But it's there, chosen one. It's there. It's like a fracture beneath the skin, unseen by everyone around her, but always felt. Every morning when she wakes up, every night when the house goes quiet and she's alone with her thoughts, that wound pulses. It whispers. It shapes every decision she makes, every wall she builds, every relationship she sabotages before it gets too close. You've seen glimpses of it, haven't you? Those moments when her eyes go distant, those conversations that end too quickly, those holidays when she's physically present but emotionally 1,000 miles away. You've felt it in the space between you, that invisible wall you can't name but you know is there. And you've asked yourself 1,000 times, what happened to my little girl? Where did I lose her? What did I miss? Listen to me very carefully. You didn't miss anything. You didn't fail. This wound your daughter carries, it wasn't yours to prevent, but it is yours to intercede for. Because when the sun rises tomorrow morning, that wound will come to the surface, not to destroy her, not to shame her, not to expose her, but to heal her. God has been waiting for this exact moment. He's been protecting that wound, preserving it, keeping it sealed until the appointed time when healing could be complete, not partial, not temporary, complete. You see, there's a reason this wound stayed hidden until now. There's a reason it survived every therapy session, every new relationship, every self-help book, every attempt she made to fix herself. Because human hands cannot heal what requires divine surgery. Psalm 147:3 says, "He heals the broken-hearted and binds up their wounds." But did you catch the order? He heals first, then he binds. The binding comes after the breaking open. The bandage comes after the wound is exposed. Tomorrow, God is going to do something surgical in your daughter's spirit. He's going to open what's been closed, surface what's been buried, expose what's been hidden. And I know that sounds terrifying to you right now. But stay with me. Pain rises right before destiny does. Think about childbirth. Hours of agony, pushing, crying, feeling like your body is tearing apart. But that pain isn't the end, it's the doorway. On the other side of that pain is new life, purpose, legacy. Everything you endured was bringing forth what you were created to carry. Your daughter is about to give birth to her destiny, but first, the wound must crown. I need you to understand something that most people miss. God doesn't heal wounds to make us comfortable. He heals wounds to make us complete. He doesn't remove pain to give us easy lives. He redeems pain to give us powerful testimonies. 2 Corinthians 1-4 tells us He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Your daughter's wound, once healed, will become her greatest ministry. The very thing that almost destroyed her will become the weapon she uses to destroy the enemy's work in others. But here's what you need to know tonight, before tomorrow comes. Here's what heaven is asking of you in this sacred hour. Your daughter's healing doesn't start with her, it starts with you. Are you ready to discover what role you play in tomorrow's breakthrough? Let me tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. The battle around your daughter was never random. You thought it was just teenage rebellion. You thought it was just bad friends, bad choices, bad timing. You blamed yourself. You wondered what you did wrong. You replayed every conversation, every argument, every moment you should have said something different. But what if I told you that every attack she faced, every depression that came out of nowhere, every toxic relationship that nearly destroyed her, every addiction that wrapped around her throat like a python, what if none of it was coincidence? The enemy saw her future before she did. Hell looked at that little girl, your baby girl, and saw something that terrified the kingdom of darkness. He saw a woman who would break generational curses. He saw a mother who would raise children in righteousness. He saw a voice that would speak truth in a generation drowning in lies. He saw a light that would expose his schemes. And so he came after her. Hard, fast, relentless. It was like watching a small flame that hell feared would become a wildfire. Think about it. Why has she struggled more than her siblings? Why has life been harder for her than for anyone else in your family? Why has she faced battles that don't make sense, setbacks that defy logic, pain that seems disproportionate to anything she did to deserve it? Because hell doesn't waste ammunition on empty threats. Look at David, a shepherd boy, the youngest, the forgotten one. But 1 Samuel 16-7 tells us God saw what no one else could see. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And from that moment, King Saul tried to kill him for years. Why? Because the enemy saw the king in the shepherd before the shepherd saw it himself. Look at Moses. Pharaoh ordered every Hebrew baby boy killed. Exodus 1:22 records the decree, every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile. Why? Because hell knew that among those babies was a deliverer who would shatter 400 years of bondage. Look at Jesus. Matthew 2:16 tells us Herod massacred every child under 2 years old in Bethlehem, not because they had done anything wrong, because darkness recognized the threat of divine light wrapped in human flesh. Your daughter has been under assault since childhood because the enemy recognized her assignment before she could spell her own name. Hell did not come after your daughter because she was weak. Hell came after her because she was chosen. Every lie whispered in her ear, "You're not enough, you're too damaged, you're unlovable, you'll never change," those weren't random thoughts. Those were strategic attacks designed to make her abort her destiny before she could step into it. But here's what the enemy didn't count on. He didn't expect your prayers. He didn't expect that a mother's intercession, a father's faith, a grandparent's stubborn belief could build a wall of fire around her that hell itself couldn't penetrate. He attacked her, yes, but he couldn't touch her destiny because you've been standing in the gap. Ezekiel 22:30 says, I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land. That someone has been you. Every midnight prayer, every tear-soaked pillow, every moment you cried out when you didn't even know what to pray, your endurance became her protection. But what the enemy didn't expect was that his very attacks would become the proof of her calling. And tomorrow, something breaks that he's been trying to keep locked for decades. But you need to understand what's really about to happen. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to hold 3 eternal truths close to your heart. First, the battle around your daughter was never about her weakness, it was always about her destiny. Every attack she faced was hell's confirmation that she carries something powerful. Second, your prayers have not been wasted. Every tear, every midnight cry, every moment you stood in the gap, God heard it all. Your endurance built the wall of protection around her. And third, tomorrow is not just another day. Tomorrow, something shifts. Something heaven has been orchestrating finally comes into alignment. But you are not walking this path alone. The God who called you to intercede for your daughter has never left your side. He's been working behind the scenes, in the moments when you thought nothing was changing. And beyond God's faithfulness, you have this community, thousands of parents and grandparents who understand your pain, who are ready to stand with you in prayer. So let me ask you, if God has brought your daughter this far through every storm, every attack, every dark valley, why would he abandon her now at the threshold of her breakthrough? Now, before you leave, join me in prayer. Bow your head with me. Let me speak over your life and your daughter's life. A prayer for your daughter's tomorrow. Heavenly Father, I lift up every parent watching this message right now. Lord, you see their hearts. You know the weight they've carried. You've counted every tear they've cried over their daughters. Tonight, Father, touch these daughters with your healing hand. Break every chain the enemy has wrapped around their minds, their hearts, their futures. Silence every lie that's told them they're not enough. Speak your truth over their identities. God, give these parents peace tonight. Let them sleep knowing you are working even now. Tomorrow morning, Lord, let these daughters wake up different. Let something shift in the spiritual realm. Open doors that have been locked. Restore relationships that have been broken. Surround these families with your presence. Send the right people, the right opportunities, the right words at the right time. Let this breakthrough be so undeniable that everyone who witnesses it will know that only you could have done this. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer. Amen. Now, I need to hear from you. In the comments below, share your daughter's name so we can pray specifically for her. Tell us what breakthrough you're believing for. This community will surround you with intercession. And if this message touched your heart, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. Someone in your life is fighting the same battle. Remind them they're not alone. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Every week, we're releasing messages to strengthen parents and grandparents who refuse to give up on their children. Thank you for staying with me through this entire message. Your faithfulness honors God, and your daughter's story isn't over. Until we meet again, hold fast to hope. Your daughter's breakthrough is closer than you think. God bless you, warrior. Tomorrow changes everything.